Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sport here on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program as we set to x-ray a whole lot of conversations within the sporting ecosystem, and then we'll be having conversations too around grassroots sport development, which is very key and to global television and as well very key to the National Sports Commission, because grassroots is where the future and young talent get to be discovered. We are going to talk about numerous issues, but we'll focus more today on AFCON. And we saw that DR Congo and Algeria had their match yesterday, and Algeria were victorious. Now the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be facing off with Algeria in the next round of in the final eighth round of the competition, and that will be happening tomorrow. We'll be having a conversation in that line as well, and I won't be having this talk alone. I have someone in the studio who will be joining me to x-ray all of this conversation and also talk about grassroots football, in specific football development and what can be done differently. So now we'll be going on a very quick break, and when we return back, we'll start off from the home front as NPFL referees lament unpaid allowances. Stay with us, we'll be back after this break. Yes, many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Talk Sport here on Global Television, and we're about to get set with the conversation. But today we are not starting with so much excitement because officials are lamenting of unpaid allowances from the Nigerian Premier Football League, and then they say referees and other match officials in the Nigerian Premier Football League have not been paid their indemnities for officiating in the top flight for about 11 match days, leading to a growing discontent ahead of the second stanza of the 2025-2026 season. The NPFL is currently on a mid-season break, and information gathered that payment to match referees, referee assessors, and match commissioners have stalled since March day 8. Since some of the affected officials who pleaded disclosed that their basic allowance for match day range from 60,000 to 90,000 aside from hotel and transportation allowance. In 2023, the NPFL and its strategic partners, GTI Asset Management, approved a 30% increase in the payables to officials for each match commissioners and referees in the league. They also increased the prize money of the league twice, from 100 million to 150 million, and later on this year, 200 million naira, while granting 10 million naira each to 20 clubs in the league every season. So all of this now is subsidies being paid. That is a 10 million for each team. Now we've seen the trajectory: 2023 100 million, 2024 150 million. That's talking about the 2022-2023 season. The champions got 100 million prize money. Then for the 2023-2024 season, we also saw that the champions also got 150 million, and now it has been increased to 200 million naira, which is welcoming. But now, what then is the reason why officials are not getting their bonuses for almost 11 match days now? All of these things now are the concerns that is hindering and that is, distorting the growth and development of these our local leagues. That's why most of the times fans don't even get to go there, and that's why most of the times we get to see very, very wrong officiating, because obviously these individuals will not be putting their best and will not be putting all they need to put in so as they would get the results that they want. So all of these are the major concerns we're having, and we're hoping that the appropriate bodies, the NFF, will look into it and have their bonuses, all paid. You see the Super Eagles, their salaries and bonuses have been paid, and everybody is, enjoying and reaping the fruit of the labor. Everybody is celebrating the wins. But most of the times, if all of these bonuses and salaries, arrears, allowances are not paid, most times it actually affects the way that these individuals get to perform at their duty. So please, NFF, look into these and let these officials and match commissioners get their bonuses, allowances, and salaries as well. So moving on, Eagles depart fees for Marrakesh for Thursday's clash. They actually departed early hours of this morning after their last training section. After they had a training section last night, now they've moved to Marrakesh ahead of the Thursday clash against Algeria. The Nigerian Football Federation has confirmed that the Super Eagles will leave the city for Marrakesh on Thursday as the preparation continues for their quarterfinal clash at the African Cup of Nations in Morocco. In a statement released on early hours of this morning, the Federation said the three-times champions will on Thursday move to the city of Marrakesh, where they will play the winner between the winners, Algeria, who defeated Democratic Republic of Congo, the Leopards, on Saturday in quarterfinal draw scheduled to kick off at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. The update follows the team's training section on Tuesday evening at the Standardis complex, where all 26 available players took part. The Federation added that defender Ryan remains sidelined as he continues to recover from injury. The move to Marrakesh is in line with a new arrangement introduced by CAF for this edition of the tournament. According to CAF, each team has been assigned a designated camp, and policy being implemented for the first time at the African Cup of All Nations. So they've moved, and then a lot of persons will be asking me now what's going on between Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. The question here and your answer is there is nothing going on between them. What you saw on the field of play died and was buried on the field of play. It's all football. Yes, we saw an outrage, an outburst by Victor Osimhen, which a lot of persons have tagged outrageous, but most times, passion can make you, go off at your teammates just because you want him or her to do better, and that was the issue between Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen. There was nothing more. But some persons are saying Victor Osimhen needs to work on his attitude. All over the social media, individuals are reacting differently. But still, this is football. A striker would always ask you for the ball because his primary job is to get the ball from the midfielder and score. And when that doesn't happen, a problem might arise, a certain reaction might come up. But we saw Ademola Lookman also gave him an assist, and again, he scored, though he didn't get to convert all of the assists he got, passes he got from Ademola Lookman, but just that one was not a good enough reason for the outburst. A lot of persons say they saw, or we saw, and a lot of persons have argued about that differently. So we will still move on and still talking about the Super Eagles. Chile hails Alex Iwobi's IQ, because Alex Iwobi, for me, was the man, and if not because Ademola Lookman gave 2 assists and scored the goal, I actually thought that the man of the match trophy would have gone to Alex Iwobi because of the level of performance that we saw from him. Having a defensive yesterday, on Monday rather, we saw Alex Iwobi in a fashion that we haven't seen him before. He had Wilfred Ndidi and Frank Onyeka. Those are 2 DM midfielders, defensive midfielders, and then Alex Iwobi was playing more like a free role, and then we saw him, in his bag. We saw him in his bag, dishing out beautiful and amazing and killer passes that contributed to the goal that we saw. The first 3 goals was the passes behind Alex Iwobi, and that was great. So this coming from the head coach of Super Eagles, Eric Chell, has harped praise on Alex Iwobi, describing the Fulham midfielder as a rare talent with an exceptional understanding of the game, while Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman have often dominated the headlines for better or worse. Iwobi has quietly delivered consistently influential performance across 3 matches he has played in at the ongoing African Cup of Nations. Against Mozambique on Monday, Iwobi outstretched Nigeria's attack, contributing to the build-up from their first 3 goals with perfectly timed pre-assist passes. Speaking at the post-match press conference, Chile praised Iwobi's vision and technical ability. Iwobi's first setup Adams for Lookman's opener, then played a piercing long pass to Lookman, following Osimhen to double the lead, and then the trajectory continued like that. Iwobi is actually a man, and then he has been doing so much more in that light. So we are just hoping to see that this trajectory continues with the matchup we'll be seeing. We'll be doing a couple of analysis around that matchup, and I have someone in the studio who would help us x-ray that, as we also have other conversation. But before we come back to AFCON, let's quickly talk about we're in the month of January. The transfer windows are opening up, and then Fenerbahce is preparing £42 million or euros for Ademola Lookman. Fenerbahce are stepping up their pursuit of Ademola Lookman and are preparing an opening bid for the Atlanta forward as the Turkish side targets another high-profile signing in January transfer window. The Turkish club are ready to submit a proposal structured as a paid loan worth €5 million with a right or potential obligation to buy set at 37 million, bringing the total signing package to 45 million euros. Fenerbahce continues to monitor the situation of Ademola Lookman. The Turkish club are preparing an offer for a paid loan worth 5 million euros with a purchase option and obligation later on. Discussions are still ongoing. However, Atlanta are believed to prefer a permanent transfer rather than a temporary arrangement. He is a world-class striker. He's a world-class attacker. And then all of these treatments and conversations I'm seeing, I think Ademola Lookman is way past all of this. But I don't know why it has to come to this most of the times when you have to deal with African players. All of these narratives actually need to be changed quickly. So back to AFCON. Cote d'Ivoire trashed Burkina Faso 3-0 to seal last quarter-final spot. Defending champions Cote d'Ivoire have completed the African Cup of All Nations 2025 quarter-final lineup after a dominant 3-0 victory over Burkina Faso on Tuesday night in Marrakesh. Cote d'Ivoire trashed Burkina Faso in the round of 16 goals from Amad Diallo, Yann Dumond, and a late strike by Bam Torre powered the elephant past the Stallions as the Ivorians delivered a composed and a clinical performance to underline their title credentials. Diallo stirred once again for Cote d'Ivoire, opening the scoring before providing an assist, and again the second as the champion took firm control before the first half. And also Diallo also shined, and he also was awarded the man of the match. We saw all of those actions yesterday, and it's just so beautiful to see that Ivory Coast are also on a path to defending their championship. They've actually won 6 out of all of their matches that has been played. So we will see what the future holds for them in the next round and who they will be facing off. They'll be facing off Egypt now, and it's going to be a very, very beautiful clash to watch. We have great talents in the team, in the Egyptian team, and also great talent in the Ivorian team. So we will see which of these teams would advance for the next round. So we'll have this conversation and more, but before we x-ray and have our guest who is in the studio here x-ray all of these conversations for us, let's quickly look at the highlights between Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso, and we'll also